Alright guys, welcome to today's video, and as you guys can probably tell by the title, today I'm going to be talking about why any teen joining the gym, or anyone who's new or intermediate in the gym, should be doing power building. And so basically guys, I've been listening to some people, and some really good informational people, and by no way like trying to bash them at all, but I just kind of want to build upon some of the things these people have been saying. So recently, someone who's enlightened me is this guy called Basement Bodybuilding. So I'll put up a little picture of his YouTube channel, or I'll probably put his link in the description. And you guys can check him out. He has great info for bodybuilding. But recently, he has been talking about how power building is not the move. And so first, let me just define the terms. So power building is essentially when you do powerlifting and bodybuilding combined. So this all started back in the day with the David Lade, Quinn Vital, Dylan McKenna, the OG guys from the New Jersey gang, and the New Jersey Juice gang, as they called them, all those like fake natty guys, which most likely they're all not natty, and so they would all do power building. And so what they would do is they would do the heavy squat for leg day, heavy bench for chest day, heavy deadlift for back day, and after they would do the quote-unquote accessory lifts. And so a lot of teens have used this to get big, and it works. And so recently, Basement Bodybuilding has been dissecting this method for getting bigger. And basically, he's been explaining how he went down that path. And he got bigger, of course, but it didn't satisfy his goals. So now he switched over to bodybuilding. And now he's really been able to satisfy a lot of the goals that he's been striving to hit. And so I agree, in his case, it was perfect because he has this experience. But for most teens who are new to the gym and who want to get serious about lifting, power building is the way. And so the reasons are, I wrote some notes for you guys. And the reasons are, first, it forces you to stick with exercises. Now, this is a very, very key point. Exercise or program hopping will get you nowhere. Like, the number one thing, guys, to gain muscle is progressive overload. You need to be, over time, adding weights, adding reps, or adding sets. And so if you're jumping around exercises, you don't know if you're adding weights or if you're adding reps. You just don't know. If 1 week I do tricep push downs like this, and the next week I do overhead, it's like, how are you tracking your progress? You need a consistent program. And so that's the thing. Squat, bench, deadlift forces you to stick with the squat, bench, deadlift all the time. There's no negotiating. Oh, I don't feel like squatting today. No, you're doing it. I don't feel like benching. No, you're going to bench. Okay? And so this ensures that you're staying consistent in something and slowly building, slowly progressive overloading like that. Now, another key thing that when I got enlightened by Basement Bodybuilding and some other guys, such as Alpha Destiny and Natural Hypertrophy, some of these guys kind of have similar things. They're all very great info sources, by the way. I kind of stopped doing the squat, bench, deadlift, and I went more bodybuilding because those are my original goals. And the gym just wasn't as fun. It wasn't hitting the same. It wasn't as nostalgic. I didn't have this motion and this energy and this drive to get there. I wasn't excited as much. And so I was thinking, I was like, why is this? And then I realized why. The squat, the bench, and the deadlift, they're worshipped in the gym world. Especially if you teens, you're in high school. How many times do people ask for your bench? You're like, yo, what's your bench at? Like, I'll just be walking in the halls, people ask, yo, what's your bench at? I go to the bathroom, someone's like, yo, what's your bench at? It's like, just this week, I'm pretty sure 3 kids I don't even know asked what my bench was at school. It's like, bro, the amount of times people ask is crazy. Yet alone in the gym environment, how many times people are asking questions like this? And so this brings emotion, and this brings drive and status into lifting. And so a lot of the times, yes, it's true. You don't want to care about what other people think, but in my experience, it makes the gym a lot more fun. Because it's just, when you're doing that last rep and you're thinking, you're like, oh, everyone's going to ask for my bench PR, let me get this. You're grinding harder, you're pushing harder, which is one of the number one ways you're going to make muscle. A lot of the beginners I see in the gym, they're training the hardest when they're doing the squat, bench, deadlift because of this. They want to bring it up. They want, when people ask, what's your squat, what's your bench, what's your deadlift, they want it to be a high, and they want it to be a good number that they're proud of. And so this can just bring a lot more motivation into lifting. A lot of times people just go around doing these isolation lifts off program. They don't really know what they're doing. They're just floating around. Arnold said it. The best thing is having a goal. That's when you know what to do. So when you have a program telling you exactly what you have to do it. That allows you to push harder. That allows you to get this inner drive and really work as hard as you can and get to your full potential. All right, let's get back to why they're really important, the squat, bench, deadlift, and why they're very useful and they work really well. Another thing is they're able to micro load easily. You can slide on the 2.5s on the bench, the squat, and the deadlift, and because it's such a small percentage of the lift, it's very easy to micro load these lifts. For example, if your deadlift is 400, you can rep 400 on deadlift. You add 2.5s on each side, that's 5 pounds. 5 out of 400 is such a small percentage. Whereas if you tried to add 5 pounds to your little tricep extension, which you do maybe 80 pounds with, that's a huge percentage compared to the 400 pounds of the deadlift. So it's going to be a lot harder to increase your load and slowly progressive overload on isolations than it is for you to do on the squat, the bench, and the deadlift. And so this also allows for visible progress. And yeah, I think it's pretty important to be able to see this visual progress and to be like, I'm making gains. I'm still making gains. Okay? Another thing, SBD is hard. You can't pump work SBD. And so what I mean by pump work is I see a lot of people do these isolations lift, and I am by no means hating on isolations. I will explain a little bit in the end of the video about my ideas about them. But I see people use them as an excuse to do pump work. They just go, oh yeah, light, high reps, I'm a bodybuilder. Let me do 20 some reps. Light, don't go to failure. Yeah, that shit's getting you nowhere, bro. That's not gonna do you any good, okay? You're gonna get a nice little pump, you're gonna look good for 5 minutes, and you're gonna leave a skinny bitch, okay? So, don't do that, okay? And so that's the thing, is that SBD forces you to get this hard work done, okay? It's fun, but it's painful. You can't pump work. You can't just do, you could do, I guess, really high reps on bench, but like for squat and deadlift especially, just doing high reps, it's painful, okay? So, you're not going to have this idea where I'm just going to go do it for fun. It's no. I'm doing this. I'm getting in the mindset. It's a warrior mindset. It's a warrior mentality. I'm not just going to go play around when I'm doing these lifts. These are serious. It's not meant to be a fun little thing. I mean, it's meant to be fun, but it's not meant to be like some little pump thing. You got to get in the mindset before you do these lifts. And so, yeah, it's something I think you got to think about when you're doing these, because a lot of people I see just doing pump work, and that's not going to get them gains. It might be fun, but it's not going to get the gains. So another thing, which really is important to me, and it might just be because I'm in high school and I want to go bench PRs, squat PRs, deadlift PRs with the gym bros, but it's the SBD allows for PRs, which is way more fun. It just makes the gym 1,000 times more fun, okay? And so the thing is this. When I quit SBD for like about a month doing just purely bodybuilding, which really is my goal. I care more about how I look than how much I lift, but the PRs, I stopped at squat, bench, and deadlift, no PRs. There's just something about going to the gym with your friends. You take the pre-workout. You get hyped up. You get in the mindset. You get your favorite music on. You get the back slaps. You get the smelling salts. You get whatever. You get amped up. You hit these PRs. It's just like, it's so fun. I can't explain. It's just something you have to experience. And so, really, if you're new to the gym, one of the most fun things you can do is hit PRs with your friends. It's like your reward after all this hard work. It's a number you're obtaining. That's the thing. You get this satisfaction. With bodybuilding, you're never satisfied. You're always slowly building, and that's why it's just a harder sport, in my opinion. Powerlifting, you get numbers. You get concrete progress. Bodybuilding, it's hard to measure your progress on your delts or your biceps or something like that. So it's something to keep in mind. But it's the number one thing. Power building allows for PRs, which honestly, guys, when I look back at the gym, I have certain memories where I still remember hitting those PRs with certain gym bros. Had just the fun of it. It's memories I will always remember. So certain things like that, guys, I really think you guys should try it out just because of how fun it is. Another thing, it's simple and effective. You're not overcomplicating it. I see people trying to do this optimal stuff. Let me cross my arms and do this overhead like that. It's not bad that they're bad. It's just you're overcomplicating it. You don't have to do 10 different types of bicep curls to get a bicep peak. That's my left arm, by the way. I was injured. But you don't have to do it. You just got to stick to something and be consistent with it. And so a lot of times I think the simple and the more basic things work a lot better. And so that's why the squat, bench, and deadlift works. Another thing that's really good. Squat, bench, and deadlift can be universally done in any gym. When you go to a certain gym, you maybe one tricep extension machine, I've had it where I can max out the stack. It's like 200 pounds. We're doing tricep extension with 200 pounds. At my home gym, I'm doing it with like, I don't even know, maybe like 80. Like not a lot. Compared to, it varies. That's what I'm trying to say. It varies because machines can change, but barbells don't. Barbells are the same for the most part. I mean, depending on like maybe there's some different types. There's different types of barbells, of course, but like the standard barbell is gonna be the same at any gym. So you can go to any gym and squat, bench, and deadlift on program. You don't have to get off a program, get off your routine, and do like some makeshift workout. You can still do your workout anywhere. That's something that's great. So the last thing that I think is really important is this allows you to test out both bodybuilding and powerlifting. And so yes, this is not the most optimum way to gain muscle, powerbuilding. Probably not. You would probably gain more muscle doing just strictly bodybuilding. But is it more fun? In the long term, are you going to gain more muscle? Think about how many people are going to quit the gym because bodybuilding is tiring. It's hard. Think about that. When you do powerbuilding, it is so much more fun. In my opinion, my experience at least, it has been a lot more fun than bodybuilding. So, and now I'm not saying that's the case for everyone, but at least for me and a lot of my friends as well. So, try it out. You might make maybe 80% less progress. But really, are you going to notice that little 1/4 an inch off your shoulder or 1/4 an inch off your bicep? Like, are you really going to notice that? Are you going to care about that instead of having so much fun at the gym? And so look, obviously if you're a professional bodybuilder, I'm not saying switch to powerbuilding. But I'm saying for most teens, most beginners and intermediates, they should be doing it. Because it allows you to test out bodybuilding and powerlifting and find out, do I really like either of them? Do I want to compete in powerlifting? Do I want to compete in bodybuilding? Do I want to just lift casually for fun and do a mixture of both? What do I really want to do? And so that's why I think it's just so good powerbuilding because it allows you. It's like once you get past that intermediate level and you're like, you know what, I really like bodybuilding, do it. Ditch powerbuilding. Go fully on bodybuilding and do specific training for your specific goals. But a lot of the time when you're first joining the gym, you don't know what you want to do. You're just there. You just want to get healthier, get bigger, get stronger. And so this gives you the best of both worlds, all of them. And that's why I think it's just a really good thing to do. Because maybe you're not the most optimal for lifting or the most optimal for bodybuilding, but you're the best of everything. And so unless you're trying to be very specific and compete in powerlifting or compete in bodybuilding, those are your specific goals, I think powerbuilding really can suit you. And so now I'm going to talk about some downsides. So one downside I've found is that workouts can take longer. When you're squatting, benching, or deadlifting at the start, it takes a long time to warm up, especially once you get to some heavier lifts. It may take you 45 minutes to an hour just to do a full squat, bench, or deadlift session. And I've had that where it's like, dude, my brother comes over, he's like, bro, what are you doing? You've been benching for 45 minutes. I'm like, bro, I know, I gotta warm up. I mean, I warm up my shoulders with the bands, bar, 135, 185, 225, and then whatever I'm doing for the rest of the day, that alone takes 20, 30 minutes just to warm up. So it's like, these things really do take a long time. But there's a simple fix, and that is to lower your volume and up your intensity, okay? So I'm not saying specifically to up the intensity on the squat, bench, and deadlift, but I'm talking about the isolation lifts. In my opinion, isolations should be done to failure. There's failure or progression, whichever one you need. You should be consistently trying to overload your weight, and you're going to get to the point where when you're overloading those weight, you're hitting failure to do that. And so, yeah. Another thing, your central nervous system may have suboptimal recovery. And so there's two things. First off, when you're new to the gym, you're not lifting that heavy of weights. Your central nervous system, your CNS, can recover faster because you're not putting as much load on it. So it's a little bit less of a problem. Once you get into heavier weights, that could become a problem. And so there's two things. One, you could lower your intensity a little bit on squat, bench, and deadlift because personally, I don't think it's the smartest thing to be training squat and deadlift especially to failure. All the time at least. And second, you pick isolation lifts after you do the squat, bench, and deadlift that are easier on your central nervous system. For example, instead of doing barbell rows after deadlifts, chest supported row, something like that. So pick something that's going to allow you to recover better and still get that same like stimulus to fatigue, like a better stimulus to fatigue ratio. So for example, the barbell rows, that's going to be really tax your lower back and fry your central nervous system. When it's chest supported, it's not going to do that as much. And yeah, I also wrote how it was slightly suboptimal for specific bodybuilding or powerlifting. And that's basically, especially if you're new to the gym, you're most likely not going to know what you want to do exactly. So it's really fine. It's not that big of a deal. So now I have some important notes I want to specify before I leave you guys real quickly. So first thing, do not treat isolation lifts as if they're less than the SBD. Because that's one great point Basement Bodybuilding pointed out. Isolation lifts are probably more important than the squat, bench, and deadlift in building your physique, depending on how you program these things, of course. But these lifts should not be trained easily. They should be trained harder than the squat, bench, and deadlift. The squat, bench, and deadlift has a slightly higher risk of injury because you're lifting more weight. You're doing most of the time less reps, and it's just like more weight on your back. It's a free weight movement, so it's a little bit more risky. Whereas if you're doing like a machine. So these lifts, the isolations, all out to failure. Okay? There's no excuse with this. They should also be tracked. I see so many kids just going. They're just pumping out their isolation lifts, not knowing what weight they did last time. Bro, how are you going to improve? Track your stuff. I have. Well, before I got injured, I was doing this. I had 6 notebooks. One for each day of the week. Came in, wrote exactly what I did. Tried to improve on it. You try to improve on it in some way, shape, or form. For the isolation lifts. The SBD I would follow a program for. Also, do not do junk volume, guys. I fell into this trap where I was like, more is better. I have this mindset where I always want to do more. I always want to be the best, so I'm always trying to do more volume, more volume. I think in my head, I'm like, should I do another set of curls? I'm like, yeah, fuck it, bro. I got to get big arms. Do I want them or not? And so I think of like this parallel universe where there's the version of me who doesn't do that last set of curls and who does, and which one becomes stronger. And a lot of the times, we have this idea in our head where more is always better. That's not necessarily the case. And so yeah, pick your exercises carefully. Everything should earn a place in your program. Something Basement Bodybuilding also said. Everything should be earning a place in your program. And so, of course, you're going to have to experiment with these things, but really pick these things carefully. Because your central nervous system and just more fatigue is created by squat, bench, deadlift, everything is important. Don't do more than is necessary. For example, on bench day, I used to do 2 incline presses. I used to do incline dumbbells and incline barbells. Pick one. You don't need both. There's no reason. You already have enough volume. You're already hitting both angles of the chest. There's no reason. And so just don't do junk volume. Everything should have a reason for being in your program. And that also pushes you to work harder because it's like, I'm doing this specifically for upper chest. Let me really push right now because if not, my upper chest is going to be lacking, bro. Some notes I have on the side. Some muscle groups that are commonly neglected in a power building split. Arms. Number one thing, arms. So aesthetic. You can see them when you have your shirt on. You can still see your arms. They're really important for aesthetics. And a lot of the times, because the people tend to run push-pull-leg split when power building, your arms get neglected. So I'll have a solution for this, and I'll post my perfect split for me. But basically, I do a push-pull legs and then an Arnold split. So that allows me to get a really good arm day in. Shoulders. Also, I feel they tend to get neglected. Either I tend to do shoulders after leg day, or some people tend to do it after like a push day. They hit the lateral and front delt on their chest tri day, the rear delt on their back bi day. Either way, they tend to get neglected sometimes. And also, I think back is just one of those aesthetic muscles that really can't be too big. So a lot of the times, people just tend to just think, oh, I get a big deadlift, it will be big. That's not necessarily true. So arms, shoulders, back. 3 aesthetic muscles I would really be focusing on. So yeah, guys, I just wanted to get these thoughts into you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys learned something, can take this, just because these ideas have been on my mind for a while. I don't know why I really haven't sat down and made a video for this, but honestly, it's just really give power building a try. I would. If you're within that first 3 years of lifting, do it. It's gonna be fun. You're gonna get good results, and it's gonna be good as long as you're training hard, being consistent, and you're training smart as well. So yeah, guys, that's basically all I have for you today. Because of my injuries, I'm gonna be doing a lot more like informational videos. I'll probably film a couple at the gym and stuff, but yeah, that's not what I have. My hair is a little messed up after I showered. Also, guys, I don't know if you can tell, my neck, I started training neck. So basically, like, I took Alpha Destiny's advice and Jeff Nippard and those guys. I got a neck flex, and it was like $90 or something, and I got like the cheapest package. Honestly, guys, I have to say, pretty satisfied so far. I've been using it for about a week, and like, I don't know, it's actually pretty fun neck training. Like, I do like 10 minutes a day, 5 minutes. I come home, I do a little warm up. I do 3 sets like this, superset like that twice a week, and then 3 sets like that, superset like that twice a week. It's whatever. Like, my neck's like 16 and a half, like straight across here right now, and so no pump obviously. So I don't know, I just want to kind of do it for fun, see what happens. I don't want like a huge neck, but like I just want to kind of do it just to see. Also because I'm bored with this, but yeah. So basically those are just my thoughts on power building. You guys have any questions, leave them down below. Yeah, just any questions. I'd love to have a conversation with you guys and see if I can help. I mean, obviously I don't know everything. I'm not perfect. Still new to lifting and stuff, but just wanted to share my ideas. I hope you guys enjoyed and learned something, and as always, keep getting those gains, boys.